So it's 8 miles?
Yeah, just shy of 8 miles if you do the full canyon loop of Little Wild Horse and Bell Canyon.
Okay.
So that's what we're doing today. We just got done with a slot canyon this morning called Zero Gravity. Now we're doing one that's not technical, meaning you don't need ropes, called Little Wild Horse Canyon, along with Bell Canyon loop. It's a little shy of 8 miles. You go up one, come down the other one. It doesn't matter which one you go up first or last. Little Wild Horse is more scenic. That's where all the fun stuff is. Bell's probably a little more beautiful, but it's a little more open. So if you're looking for, like if you're short on time and you want to do one or the other, I'd definitely choose Little Wild Horse over Bell Canyon. And just go up like 2 miles and come back. So this hike is pretty special to me because my mom would take us here when we were in elementary, and it was our not spring break, but Easter break from elementary, that vacation time here in Utah. So she'd take us down here and we'd have Little Wild Horse Canyon maybe to ourselves and 4 other families. But now, 25 years later, it's just insane. Parking's insane. Goblin Valley's insane. So this place has just exploded with tons of growth. But this is the canyon that she took us through, and just instantly fell in love. Like, I think as a kid I remembered, like slot canyons, those were cool, but actually, seeing one, being in one, just like it was just so different. We had that family tradition probably for like 5, 6 years in a row, coming down here. And in some years, after a rain, it would hold the water for a little bit. So then we'd have to use our Spider-Man skills as a kid and go across the water, or just walk inside the water. And I just remember that being just so cool. And so, and I think this hike is like on the top 10 list of, best hikes for Utah.
Really?
Yeah. And here's some cottonwood trees growing in the desert, looking for water in the wash. So, to those who have not done this, you take just the main path past the bathrooms and you follow this wash, and then what happens is it actually kind of opens up, or it forks, and one path takes you up Bell Canyon, the other path takes you up Little Wild Horse. So that's where you get to decide which one you want to do. And then when you exit out the canyon, you go behind the reef, that's what they call it, behind the reef, and then you take the sand slog and follow that path to the other canyon which you were going down, and that's how you go back to the same trailhead. So this is Sarah's first time, and I'll have her lead. It's fun to watch her reactions as she turns the corner and like, whoa, kind of capture that. So coming up here in a few, quarter mile maybe, is where the 2 canyons meet together. And so on this one, what we'll do is we'll go right, take the right path and go up a Little Wild Horse and come down Bell Canyon. And look, already water. And you can see as a kid, when I was in elementary, just like, whoa, this is so fun. Normally the canyon's dry, but after it rains though, it looks just like this. So this is, if you have kids, young kids, even like 5, 6 years old, they could do, they could do this, and according to your, time and your patience and their skill level, go as far as you want and come back. But this is definitely a good one. If this is your first time into Utah and you want some slot canyon experience without being too crazy or technical, where you need ropes, and it gets warm. 2 hoodies, yeah. That's the thing about the desert. You start off and it's cold, and then you start hiking, it's warm, but once you're back in the shade again, back in the canyon, it's cold. Summer is definitely brutal out here, but in the slot canyon it's not too bad, but still, just a lot of considerations. in your plan and choice and how you want to tackle this. Bell to your left, Little Wild Horse to your right. Now it doesn't matter again which one you choose. The Little Wild Horse is, I don't know, it's more fun, it's tighter, that's where all the fun narrows are. And then you come down Bell Canyon and it's more beautiful and majestic, but definitely more open. So we'll do all the fun stuff first. And loose back around, yep, you got it. And it ends right back there. So if you have kids, I'd go up this side, Little Wild Horse versus Bell Canyon. It'll be more fun for them. Check out the huecos, I think that's what they're called, or holes in the ground, or holes in the rock, like Swiss cheese.
Alien rock.
Alien rock, yeah.
This is so cool. Wow, look at all this. It's like it's melting.
It is like it's melting.
It's bubbling.
Like
and
bubble.
melting.
Yep, it opens back up, and then it gets more narrow again in the next section. There's all the holes on the rocks on the left side.
Like I said, alien rock.
Alien rock,
There's worms there and it's kind of
like in Dune.
yeah.
We'll wait for this group to pass, and then we'll go. Good attempt. This open area is a good spot for lunches. Big groups like that pass you. But you take this right side here, keep going up. Yeah, this place will become a Disneyland, and it already is. But imagine going single file, like on Easter weekend now, or on a popular weekend, with 100 people going through this all at once. You know, I'm showcasing the canyon here to give you an idea to better prepare for it. It's kind of the catch-22. I want you to become, you know, prepared for the hike, know what to expect, because I show the entire hike, the approach, the canyon, the exit, all that good stuff, where other videos just only show the highlights. And so, but the catch-22 is, if you show this, the canyons become more popular. You know, it's the internal battle that I have with my YouTube videos. Yeah, this is a beautiful section too.
Whoa.
All the gravel and just how open it is.
Did you say put this gravel in here?
Yep. Helicopters and dump trucks came through here and dropped off all this gravel.
That's what I was thinking.
Now, Sarah and I keep talking about our dog, future dog. Doesn't exist yet, but it's a border collie. We've already named it Clarkston, or Clark. And so we talk about just how it would react and how it would play with us and all those things. Sarah once said, like a month ago, she's just like, oh,
I miss Clarkston.
I miss and love him, even though he's not here. So we're pretty excited once our house gets finished. Hopefully by the end of the year, we can start looking into dogs, border collies specifically, and he'll be our adventure dog, or she. It'll be love at first sight when we see it.
Maybe. Or maybe not.
Or maybe not, we'll see. That'd be fun to have an adventure dog. And we're pretty active, so I think the dog will definitely have a happy life, I think. Because those type of dogs have lots of energy. They just want to play and run and play and have jobs assigned to them. Yeah, maybe in the next year or so, you'll see our doggy and all our failures and successes and lessons learned. Those canyon walls are so beautiful. Just like you.
Thanks, bro.
You're welcome, bro. The desert definitely calls to me. I'm a desert man and a mountain man, but more probably desert. So if you come up this route, up Little Wild Horse, this little spot, I think is the hardest spot on the entire path. It's about a 1.5 foot drop off. You got to pull your, or use your upper body to pull you up to here. Going down would obviously be easier. Now this sun's getting warm. That is a barrel right there. Some old garbage being flushed down or fell in from the top. If you can't make it up here, you can actually backtrack and climb up those little steps, little cliffs, and go on top. Walk across. There you go. That's what that looks like. You can climb back up there, take that path, go on top, or just come straight up there. Nice job. Good balancing skills.
Uh-oh. Another one. I have a plan.
Yep, right there. Exactly. Yep, so now we're starting to do the desert walking.
Okay.
We're sending a brother, or we're sending a text to my brother on his sat phone too, because obviously you don't get coverage out here in the canyons. So we're sending him a message because supposedly he's down here too.
Oh really? Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So I think he's in Goblin Valley. So we'll see if we can, or see if his sat phone's on, and we can talk to him, possibly meet up. Yeah, so coming up is a sign on that fence post straight ahead of us. It says Bell Canyon this way and trail that way. Yep, so go that way.
Okay.
Pretty obvious, right?
That way.
But I'll tell you a story. So about 10 years ago, there was a lady, I think she was from England. Her name was Rose. I can't remember her last name, but maybe longer than that, 11 years ago. But she was in Golden Valley with her friends, I believe, her family. And then she told them that she was going to do Little Wild Horse Canyon. And she did it about this time frame, October, November, but all by herself. And she, went up the canyon, and people remember seeing her, pass her. Anyways, family starts looking for her because they didn't hear back from her. Later that night, okay, maybe she's lost. We'll send out a search party. They spent the next weeks and months looking for her. And so eventually they called it off. And they're like, now it's just a recovery. She definitely passed away out here in the desert. Anyways, come the next spring, around April, so the canyon next to us is called Chute Canyon, over there. And there's some canyoneers were going down that slot canyon, because there's some rappels and things like that. Anyways, they came across some skeletal remains of a person hunched over, like underneath a shelf edge or alcove, I guess. And anyways, they told the rangers about it, all that stuff. So long story short, the rangers were thinking that Rose came up here, and rather than go left up here and head back towards Bell Canyon, or even back down, she went right towards Chute Canyon, a totally different canyon. And then she reached an area where you had to like down climb into a slide, like on the slick rock. And they were thinking that she was thinking in her own mind that if I just go down this canyon, I'll be okay. But at the next little spot in the canyon, it was a rappel. And so she reached a spot where she couldn't rappel down because she didn't have gear. You know, she's probably like in her 50s or 60s. And then she couldn't go back up because she didn't have the strength or the skill to go back up. You know, that little slide, she went down on the rock. And so saying that she died of exposure underneath that rock.
So sad.
It is sad, yeah. And so it hit me and my mom pretty hard, just like, whoa, we know that area pretty well. You know, and she just got disoriented or took the wrong map or trail. It was kind of sad. So yeah, paying attention out here in the desert is important. You know, have a GPS, have a map, you know, have some basic skills. You know, not just one person in your party should know the map. I'd go alone if I'd, obviously with my skill set, but I obviously know this area though too. And generally going alone isn't recommended. But if you're a skilled outdoorsman, you can read maps, you can survive, you got water filters, stuff like that, then it's probably a little better. But then again, what if something happens, you break your leg, right? Even if you are prepared, help's still far away. So that's why I invested into a satellite communicator. Sarah's my outdoor buddy.
Yep.
You know, and I let people know my plans. So even if it's 2 or 3 days later, I can survive off that. But I can at least reach someone and they would know, like, hey, we haven't heard back from Brett for a couple days. We need to retrace the steps like pronto. You know. But yeah, anyways, that's the story about Rose going right at the back of that sign towards Chute Canyon. Bell Canyon. So we just follow this to the top of the hill, and then it goes back down, and then Bell Canyon starts to form up. Yep, so now we're behind the reef. It's just a wide open desert.
Well, we did stop and talk to your friend.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so I saw a coworker down here with his wife. That was pretty random. So we talked to him for about 20 minutes. So yeah, kind of a small world. Sarah, look. A human down there. A human. Yep, so here's the map. That's where we started from. You hike this up. And here's that junction point between Little Wild Horse and Bell. So we follow this route, zigzags up, right, opens up, kind of slots back up a little bit up here, then opens up. So Google Maps shows you take this path right here around it, rather than take this path right through there. And then you follow this, and we're right here at Bell's entrance. We follow this, it's kind of straight back down, back to the car. So it says this loop hike is about 8 miles long, allow 4 to 6 hours. We're doing it in about 3. And you can see how this kind of flooded down, brought down this different color sediment, then dried out.
How will we ever get down? The wart.
The wart rock.
Wart rock. Weird, because then it gets smooth right here. Then like a bumpy transition.
Yeah.
Really weird. That's freaky.
That was a grasshopper at first.
Yeah.
But the rattlesnake was giving us a warning. Just leave me be. See him right there?
That's crazy.
At first I thought it was like one of those grasshoppers, you know. Bzz, bzz, bzz.
Yeah, well, had he not been like shaking his little tail, I could have just walked right over him.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to be occupied with us. He's just trying to cross the way.
Yeah.
Like the chicken, cross the road. He's just like, hey, let me be, or I'll attack you.
Yeah.
Sarah just suddenly jumps me like, ah! Yeah, it is kind of scary. Let's go to our right side.
Okay.
Yeah, Bell Canyon birdies.
Oh, birds.
Is that those rats?
No, bat.
Oh.
It sounded like a bat.
Yeah, pretty little canyon. For me, Little Wild Horse is more fun, more hands-on, you know. It's more curvy and twisty. But, you know, Bell Canyon, I think, is more scenic.
It's very pretty.
That's just my opinion. Yeah, because that's where the sign is, right there. That we passed earlier.
Great. Yeah, I remember this. Whoa. Just got launched to be there, bro.
I saw that. Yeah, these cottonwood trees signify the ends nearby. So yeah, I think of these trees growing here in the desert, you know, where water is unreliable, except for when rain comes, you know, and you hold on to every raindrop that you can. Alright, 3 hours and 10 minutes. And we're about 100 yards away from the cars. What did you think, Sarah?
It's awesome.
Pretty awesome?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Little Wild Horse Canyon in the San Rafael Desert of Utah.